Okay, in this section we're going to be looking at the centroid of a triangle, which is the point of concurrency for the three medians. Now remember, a median is just something that goes from the vertex to the midpoint of the opposite side. So W is the midpoint of RT. That makes RW congruent to WT. U is the midpoint of RS, which makes RU congruent to US, and V is the midpoint of ST, which makes SV congruent to VT. So just doing that to show you that so you remember that later. Where the three medians meet is right here, and that's called the centroid. And the relationship between these lines SQ and QW and the whole thing, we know that SQ is going to be 2/3 of the length of the whole thing, and that makes QW 1/3 of the length of the whole thing. So what I tend to do if I want to find QW and SW is I just cut this in half, and since this is 2/3, that makes each piece 1/3. And since S to Q is 8, that means this length is 4, that length is 4, and then QW is also 4. And it makes it pretty easy to figure out the lengths then. We've got QW, which is 4, according to what we've written, and we want SW as well. If you notice, there's 3 4s between S and W, so it would be 3 times 4, or 12. And this is your work, so if you don't show me this work, I don't know if you understand it. Make sure you show me that when you do these types of problems. I'll show you how the book does it as well. You might find it a little bit more confusing. First of all, we know that SQ is equal to 2/3 of the whole length SW. So SQ equals 2/3 SW. We plug in 8 for SQ, and we multiply both sides by the reciprocal, which is 3/2. We get SW equals 12. To find QW, we know the whole thing is 12. We know SQ is equal to 8, so we just subtract the 2 to get QW equals 4. And I don't know, I think my way is a little bit quicker and a little bit easier. Here's another problem, and they've kind of done some of the work for us here, actually given us the answer, which is B. But we have 3 points, and we want to find out the coordinates of the centroid. So we really only need to draw one median, and they chose to draw the median for from G to the midpoint of FH, but you could have done the same for the midpoint of GH and F, or the midpoint of FG and H. So they chose this one. What we would do in this case is we would find the midpoint of FH, so we'll call that K is the midpoint of FH, and we'll use the midpoint formula. In the midpoint formula, the two x's are 2 and 6, the two y's are 5 and 1, so that means that the midpoint, which you already see there, is 8/2 and 6/2, or K is 4, 3. Now if you notice, from G to K, we can draw a straight line going straight down, and the coordinates here and here both have the same x coordinate, so GK is actually the absolute value of the y coordinate, so it would be 9 minus 3, or 6. Now, if the whole thing is 6, I can cut this into 3 pieces, and I can say each piece is 2. So if we want the distance from here to the centroid, what we do for P, we'd say GP is equal to 2/3 of the whole length, which is GK. So GP is equal to 2/3 of 6, and if we simplify here and here, we get a 1 here and a 2 here. That means the distance is 4 from G to P. So we would go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and that would give us 4, 5. Okay? So again, we find the midpoint K of FH, and we sketch it, and we get 4, 3. The centroid is 2/3 the distance from the vertex, so we say it's 2/3 of 6 or 4, and then we just go down 4 from G, which is at 4, 9, so it would be 4, 4 minus 9, or 4, 5. So the correct answer was B. Alright, here's another one. If we look carefully, we can see SC is right here. The whole length is 2100. This is the part that I'm going to cut in half, and if I do that and the whole thing is 2100, that means this is 700, this is also 700, and this is 700. So if I want to know what PS is from the centroid out to here, that's 700 feet. And we also want to know PC, and PC is from the centroid out to here. That's going to be 2 times 700, or 1400 feet. Okay, and we have BT is equal to 1,000. Remember, since this is a median right here, this is the midpoint, and these two lengths are equal. So if BT is equal to 1,000 feet, that means that TC is also 1,000 feet. So if I want TC, TC is equal to 2 times 1,000. Whoops, I'm sorry. TC is this distance right here, so that's also 1,000 feet. If we want to know BC, BC is twice as big. It's the whole distance across, so it would be 2 times 1,000, or 2,000 feet. And again, there's 1,000, 2,000. For the last part of this, we've got PT. PT is from here to here, and that's 800 feet. So remember, I would cut the longer side in half. That would make this 800, and this also 800. So if I do that, PA, which is the distance from here, the centroid, out to this point here, that would be 2 times 800, or 1,600. Sorry, that's not written very well. Or 1,600 feet. And TA, which would be the whole distance going across, that would be 3 times 800, or 2,400 feet. Okay? And that's it. Thanks.